Welcome to Start Before You're Ready, the podcast that proves that you don't need to wait for the perfect moment to begin your journey towards better health and happiness. I'm your host, Kelly Young. Remember, the first step is often the hardest, but it's always worth taking. Hey guys, it's Kelly, and I am back with an episode of Start Before You're Ready that I think everyone is really going to appreciate. Today, I am here with Beyer. Ty's waving. I don't know that we'll be able to see you, but I'm so excited that he actually wanted to be on the podcast. I said he actually is doing his capstone project, or he's finished with it now, but he did his capstone project with Inergy, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And it'd be really cool is if after it's over, if we have you on the podcast. And he's like, sure. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's pretty cool. So Ty is a pretty cool kid. I've got a chance to get to know him a little bit better. I've known him since he was a little kid because he's been doing like some kids boot camps and some of our programs since he was probably like 5 years old. But it's super fun to see him as a high school graduate. He'll be graduating high school, and as a student, he's going to be a freshman at UVA in the fall, which is incredibly exciting. But I just want to let him introduce himself to the Start Before You're Ready community. Go ahead, Ty.
Oh, hello. Yeah, like I said, great introduction from Miss Young. I'm Ty. So basically, I worked with Miss Young for a couple weeks for my capstone project, which was awesome, by the way. Energy is just such an interesting area. Kelly's Boot Camp, it's so fun. We'll talk about more later, but it's just a great community. And so I'm actually the son of one of the instructors at KBC, Miss Beyer. Everyone knows Amy, very energetic. So I kind of follow after her, and that I just am immersed in fitness, and I do a bunch of sports and stuff, cross country, wrestling, and track is what I did in high school. And I'd say fitness is like one of the main parts of my life. So that's why I'm excited to be on this podcast here today.
I love that. So tell everybody, just in case they don't understand, because I don't think all of the high schools do a capstone. I think Freedom is one of the only ones. So can you just explain why Freedom does a capstone and what the students are expected to do?
So Freedom does a capstone because basically there's AP exams and all that stuff for seniors to do, which is really important. But we get that done, and there's a month left before we graduate, so we don't have much to do. So they take us out of school for 2 weeks in a capstone where it's just a big project with some kind of employer or volunteer service. And so you could go to a community place, like I chose Kelly's Boot Camp, and some people work at like big like law firms or something. And it's just about getting real world experience, because we've been in the school for 4 years, so it's good to get out there and see, does this align with my major, or like would I want to do this? Could I see myself this being my career? So that's what capstone is. And they expect you to get like, there's not like a set hour requirement necessarily, but it's more so you need to log hours for every day that you would be in school. And so that it was just like 7 school days for me, but it was still plenty of time to like get immersed in KBC.
Yeah, I love that. So when Ty and I met, as we were discussing kind of what he was going to do, one of the things that I suggested is to do something that is meaningful to you. And he is an athlete. He kind of brushed by that, but let me go back to that. Ty is a 3-sport athlete, which I think nowadays is incredibly rare to be a 3-sport athlete. It takes a ton of discipline and commitment and time management. And he not only is a 3-sport athlete, he excels in all of his sports. So recently we had to work around his state track meet that they won, by the way. He just got back from a state track meet. So it's probably a good time, Ty, to talk a little bit about school and sports and how you manage that. And just if you think it helped you, if you think it hurt you, I'd love to hear how that's been for you.
So yeah, that was the main balance of my high school experience, was school and sports, because I would joke to my parents, I'm an athlete student, not a student athlete, with how much practice we have.
Oh, well, I've heard that before.
Yeah, I'd say it was very beneficial for me, honestly. Sports taught me so much, and like wrestling especially, because I've been wrestling since I was 4 years old. So it's a big thing, and they instill so much discipline. Like you can't just be slacking off in practice. So then when you go to school, like you respect your teachers, you pay attention easier. I feel like all my teammates, like we're all like good students because if you mess up, you're not going to play in the game or you're not going to go to the track meet. If you show up 1 minute late, you can't race that day. So like I'd say that the sports have taught me to just like, you gotta be dialed in with both school and your sports.
Yeah. So you're wrestling since you are 4 years old and you're 18 now. So 14 years of wrestling. What is your favorite wrestling memory?
My favorite wrestling memory? Oh my gosh. I would say, so there's like this wall on Freedom. So they have like the wrestling room, right? And they have the wall up there and there's like 100 wins club. If you have 100 wins in your wrestling career. And I was at 95 wins during my junior season. And I was at this tournament and my parents, no one was expecting me to get 5 wins in one tournament because that requires losing your first match and then winning the rest. But I lost the first match. I was like so mad. And then I just came back and won every single one. And the last match, it was an overtime. It's hard to explain, but overtime match, I got the takedown with 1 second left. It's like a buzzer beater, but in wrestling. And so it was against like a rival and then everyone's going crazy. And just they announced like Ty Byer's 100th win. And I was just like, oh, this is awesome.
That's incredible. And your junior year. Wow. You didn't even need your senior year to do that.
And also we talked about this earlier, like having 2 older brothers, but both my older brothers wrestled. Neither of them got 100 wins.
There
so I got
we
to hold that over their heads.
There we go. I bet you. And this is what they are going to say to you, Ty. Let me help you out. Well, the caliber of the wrestlers aren't the same as when I was in school. When I was in school, that's what my boys would say to my third son. I can tell you right now. So that's incredible. And it's great to have that. And we did talk a little bit about that because Amy and I share, Jason, Amy, Andrew, and I should say, we have 3 boys and they're very close in age. You and your brothers are very close in age. And it can be tricky. It can be tricky because you want them to have their own identity, but they also favor each other physically and they often want to do the same things. And that was the case with you and your brothers. You were all wrestlers and runners. Same events in running too?
Yes, literally the exact same for all 4. I wouldn't have done it any other way.
Okay. Now, was there ever a time when you wanted to quit wrestling?
Well, so initially I feel like most people who start wrestling do want to quit. Like when I was 5 and 6, yes, because you just lose a ton, and it's such a tough sport. I think my brothers and I have bonded over the fact that like there's multiple times where like I don't want to do this anymore. Like let me go play basketball. It's more fun. But so there were times I wanted to quit, but it never like seriously crossed my mind because it's just that's kind of part of it, and it's just you're learning so much beyond the sport. Just while you're doing you're doing the hard work, but life's not easy either. So if you can get through wrestling, there's a quote from Dan Gable, who's like one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Once you've wrestled, everything in life is easy. I don't know about everything, but it's made a lot of things a lot easier. So I stuck with it and I'm glad I did for sure.
Yeah. I think that wrestling requires fitness more than any other sport that I know of. I think being strong and fit is so important in wrestling. I know that fitness became a huge part of your life. What age do you feel like you started to really get into being fit beyond just your sport?
So I was always into like fitness just through my mom because, my brother was a diagnosed with diabetes at 8. So my mom became like super into fitness. So I was always into it to an extent. But when it really clicked, like there was that moment is my freshman wrestling season, I had to cut like an extreme amount of weight. It was terrible. Worst experience of my life. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of that, but all I'll say is when you're restricting calories heavy, you can't eat much. You've got to be perfect with like what you do put into your body and what you are doing. So I was like, my diet was just straight clean foods, nothing processed. And on top of that, I was like stretching all the time, just mobility, like, cause you're losing strength if you're not doing all these little prevention things. So after that season, I just became obsessed with like nutrition and then fitness, like lifting, all that stuff. It was a terrible experience of having to do the cut, but I was able to grow my passion for fitness. So it was a trade-off, but.
Okay. So in getting, you're going to have our audience ears perked. So in getting cut and losing that weight that you had to lose your freshman year, what we're obviously eating clean food and probably some restriction, but what are your biggest tips to shed when you need to lose weight for a match?
Tips to shed. Okay. I like this question actually. So I wouldn't recommend the things you do a couple days before. For most people, don't do that because it's just dehydration and stuff. But the week leading up, that's good advice is just little substitutions. So like, you might have a plate of brown rice, which is great. But, if you want to cut carbs, cauliflower rice was the move for me, and just a ton of vegetables because they keep you full. And fruit, like if you need a snack before practice, I'm starving. Have an apple. There's tons of fiber. Got that sugar to like fuel you. So those are the big things. Vegetables, I say fruit. It's the obvious stuff. Vegetables, fruit, and then the little like protein bars and stuff. They're okay, but like they don't fill you up like a nice apple. So just keep it clean. It's simple. Eating healthy can be simple if you want it to be. So that's my main tip.
Okay. So and did you consider protein as you were cutting weight, or were you more into just fueling your body so you could kind of feel okay during that time, like just being in a deficit?
Oh, 100% protein was a major thing because it was, I had like the filler calories, which is your cauliflower, your broccoli, all that stuff. That's like 20 calories max. So I would just do that and like chicken and tuna, eggs, egg whites, all the like, because, you're, like I said, you have, if you don't want to lose all your muscle, you're going to have to get a good amount of protein. We're training 3 hours a day. So I got a lot of protein, and unfortunately I had to cut more carbs than I would have liked because that's just what carbs hold water weight for weighing in. No, protein was definitely a major thing because you need protein.
And then once you weigh in, how does it work? Do you have to weigh in again before the match, or are you? That's what I thought.
No, so you weigh in the morning of the tournament. Sometimes it's 2 days in a row. But
okay. You weigh in the morning of the tournament.
That morning, maybe, let's say your match is at 10. You're going to weigh in at 8:30, and then you can house as much food as possible, which is what I would do. I would just pound some water, that and fruit that'll hit your system quick.
Okay. So like fast carbs. Now when it's over and you're like, okay, now I get to eat again. I get to have something normal and not have to just eat fruits and vegetables and protein. What would you eat?
What would I eat? Oh, okay. Hopefully my coach doesn't see this, but
that's okay. You can eat. You're
like that freshman year, especially just anything in sight. But my big things, there's this place in Brambleton called Scotto's. It's a pizza Italian. It's really good. So pizza is one. Just flat out, I don't care. Funny enough, one time after I got the 100th win that night for dinner, my mom and dad decided to get Lebanese food, which is good and it's got a lot of protein and stuff. But I was like, no pizza. What happened? It was totally fine. It was better for my weight that I didn't have pizza, but pizza was probably the number one seed for me.
Now, how is it transitioning to? Well, so you go from cross country to wrestling to track. Let's talk about the transition from wrestling to track. How does your nutrition change as you're running all those miles and you've got to consume so much food?
That's my favorite transition because you go from depriving to fueling because running, like you said, it burns so much. So the transition is just, I'm eating the same foods for the most part, but I'm throwing in more carbs. And volume is just increasing because, I'm 18-year-old athlete running like 50 miles a week. I need a lot of food. So I just load up on the, oats and the blueberries and all the like grains I want because, as long as my stomach feels fine, I'll push it to get fuel.
So what would be the weight difference from you cutting weight for your weight class and what you weigh when you run? Like, what would just be the difference?
I would say usually, like, it depends on the year, like, because sometimes there's like there's different weight classes and stuff and like what our team needs. But I'd say an average of at least 5 pounds. I'm at least 5, maybe up to like 8 or 9 pounds heavier.
Okay. That's not too extreme.
Yeah.
I thought it would be more than that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, freshman year and junior year were more, but like once I was a senior, I was like, I'm not cutting that much.
Right.
But
Okay.
the problem lies in my weight is a lot higher when I'm running, but I'm still running. So when I stop running, it raises before wrestling season, so it gets even higher. But so like right now, I'm definitely gaining weight because I'm off season.
Right.
But
right. Bulking time.
yes.
I love that. Okay. Well, let's talk about your running season. I want to hear about, well, Freedom High School is just doing incredible in all sports. It's been pretty amazing to see, but in particular, you guys just won the state championship for track and field. Tell us about that.
It's surreal because, I mean, I just walk on a team and I'm going to have a ring on my finger in a couple of months. Like, it's awesome because it's the kind of thing you dream of. It's like the championship, and we just went to the state meet and won. Like, there wasn't much words. Like when it happened, like we were all just like looking at each other, like we're state champs. Like you can't take that moment away. But at the same time, I will say it was a little bittersweet because it's like, wow, this is awesome. I just won a state title, but like I'm a senior. I don't get to this. It's over. But so no, it was a really good season. A great group of people. Like I want to connect with those people for a long time because it's just, you know, they're your teammates, they're your brothers, your sisters. Like, so yeah, it was a great experience.
That's so cool. Now tell me about your coach. I know you told me that you thought he was a great coach.
So our head coach, or like the distance coach, we kind of like separate. Coach Weeks. He's such a funny guy. He kind of looks like me too, so people joke that he's my dad, but he's awesome.
They saw your real dad, they'd know that no one looks more like you than your real dad.
Exactly. Yeah. No. But Coach Weeks, what makes him special is he just connects with us so well. Every day at practice, he's talking to every single person on the team. Like, how are you feeling today? Or like, and running, like, especially if you're feeling off at all in your hip or your knee and you don't tell somebody, you're going to ruin your season. You're going to get injured. So he's really focused on the little things. Like we spend over an hour warming up. We spend over an hour warming up
for kids. Nothing's like, that's one thing for us old people to spend an hour warming up. But I love that your coach has you guys getting you ready, preparing your body for your workout.
Yes, because like when most people warm up, when I see my dad warming up, it's like 5-10 minutes, which is okay. It's still better than nothing. But our coach is like, you need to, you know, get your hips right, get your glutes right, get your knees right. You just need to get your heart rate up, or else, because running, it's so taxing on your joints. It's so taxing everywhere. It's great aerobically, but there are risks. So he tries to mitigate that by a lot of warming up. And I think that's a big part of our success. We have one of the best distance teams in the entire state of Virginia. And a lot of that's thanks to Coach Weeks.
How about strength training? How does that incorporate into your training?
So strength training is actually a big part of running too, which a lot of people kind of like forget about. Oh, you're running. Why do you need strong arms or strong chest? Which you don't need to be pushing like 225 for reps on the bench, but there's so much stability and core strength that goes into it. So every day we do a 5 to 10 minute core routine. That's bare minimum. So that's a lot of your isometric holds and then your like V-sit position, a lot of stuff, because you're running and engages the core a lot. So that's one. And then two is the more traditional resistance training. We go to the weight room, hopefully 3 days a week. It's hard because there's so many, like you said, so many great sports at Freedom that it's hard to get in the weight room at the same time. But we do a lot of stuff, lower body and upper body, a lot of lunges and like step ups, pull ups even, because you need to, it's the whole kinetic chain that's moving when you're running. So strength training is a big part. And like you guys have at Run Club, you don't just run the whole time. You get the bar, you're doing rows, you're doing dips, all that stuff. It's all connected.
Excellent. What's your best running memory?
Best running memory? So we did just win the state title, but I wouldn't even say that was my favorite part, because cross country takes my heart. Cross country is awesome. So we had the regional championships in cross country, and it was at this course called Oatlands, which if you've heard of Oatlands, it's
I have, yeah.
brutal. It's very hilly and it's a difficult course. It's tough, but we had a team. We were seeded second, and we knew we had a shot at winning it. And we just had ourselves a day. It was awesome. We all raced so hard. Like, you can see the race photos. It's just all of us. Our faces are drained. But, like, we ran amazing. We destroyed everybody. We won the region. And just seeing, that was the first time this team had seen a lot of success. We kept falling short, and just seeing like, we're all seniors too. And just seeing that look on coach's face, like we did it. And see the athletic directors, our AD, Mr. Weirin, said that was inspiring. And that was cool to hear. So that was my favorite running memory for sure. Just being with those guys. I still think about that. Like, it was hard going to wrestling season after that high of just like, that was awesome. But
yeah. Now, but in cross country, you're running individually, but it's a cumulative score. So if you win by your teammates, who's ever competing that day, getting in the top, whatever. Is that how it works? I don't 100% understand how cross country works.
Yeah. So it's kind of like golf in the sense that you want the lowest score. So it's based off your top 5 best runners. So if your and it's based off placement. So if your number one guy, which our number one guy, he got first place. So he scored 1 team point. And then our number 2 guy, he got second place. So it's 2 team points.
Oh.
And then it just goes from there.
Ooh, that's a little complicated.
Yeah. So it gets a little complicated. And so I think we got 20 points, which is like a super low score. So
there's an expectation for your ranking. You place within your ranking.
Yeah. So it's only your top 5. Your top 5 highest placers score that many points exactly.
Okay.
And so you can kind of displace others. So if I pass this guy from Briar Woods, it adds 1 point to their team score because I beat that guy. And
okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Okay. So sports. How are you going to integrate sports into your college life? Or fitness, or what are you thinking? Are you thinking about that yet? Or are you just thinking, let me just get to college and see what is there?
So first off, for fitness is 100% going to be a part of my college life because I've seen some people go to college and they get super jacked, and it's just like they're eating really clean. They just change themselves for the better. That's awesome. But you can also see some people who did sports in high school, but then they just kind of lose touch with fitness, which to an extent's okay. But, sometimes you just get out of shape, which I want to stay in shape personally. And it's just, fitness is so close to my identity. So I want to stick with the nutrition aspect, even though the dining hall food might not be as good as Amy Beyer's cooking. I can still make some good choices. I'm not going to go to the ice cream station every day. I'm going to try to get the best food I can, like the Greek yogurt, all that stuff. And then fitness, I want to keep running, but I also want to get into lifting more because I haven't had that opportunity to just kind of explore what I can do. So sports wise, I definitely want to get into basketball, football, intramural sports because, I've been running and wrestling this whole time. I want to try something new. So I'm going to get into that. And then I'll check out the club sports too, because club wrestling and club running are both prominent at UVA, and my brothers said they think I'd like it. I think I would too. So I want to do it all, basically.
Well, if you do club, that's a big, I don't know how it is with wrestling and running, but in other sports, club is a big commitment. You're basically on a team again, right?
Yeah. No, it's like a small step down. I think wrestling's lower commitment, but running, they go to Michigan and stuff. So
right, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's a lot.
First year I might ease into it, but if it's a good group of people, that's the main thing for me. If it's people I want to spend a lot of time with, then I'll do it. Why not? This could be lifelong friends I'm making.
I love that you connect a big important thing for you. In addition to the sports is the connections and the friendships that you make. And that's really cool. I know you got a chance to come to Run Club and you said, well, you got a chance to go to a lot of classes. So you went to Retro, which is our 55 plus class, and they all loved you and they want you to come back, Ty. I know you got to go to your mom's Level Up class, which is like a small group training. It's exclusively women and it's a little bit more strength focused. And you got to go to Run Club. You came at 5:45 in the morning, and any senior in high school can agree that is a huge feat to your last month of school to wake up and get to the parking lot at 5:45 and do Run Club. A week when you had competition, you had regionals that week, and you said you really liked that. What did you like about Run Club?
So I touched on it a bit just now at the community aspect, but it is incredible the fact that we can get that you guys at KBC can get like a group of like 20, 30 some people to get up at 5:45 in the morning, go to the parking lot in Dulles Landing and just come together and do. People hate getting up early. People hate running.
Yeah.
And yet people still do both of those things just because of the community aspect, just because they want to talk to this one person. And we were all together. We were running and talking. And you had a good rule. I really like that, where you're like, if, whatever, if Betty's talking, no one else is talking. We're listening to this one person talking. So I think that fosters community. That's what stood out to me.
Yeah.
Was the fact that you can get up that early just for the purpose of, talking to people and getting yourself out there and being active at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think in talking to you during it, when we were running together, it actually had me thinking differently. Like I was thinking to myself after, I'm like, cause I'm thinking about you as a high school senior. And I know that I was a 3-sport athlete and sports were my identity in high school. Way more than school was. So I was nervous about that chapter ending. So I was trying to tell you, and you're obviously way more prepared to do athletics beyond high school than I was, but there's always opportunity. There's run clubs, there's groups, there's always opportunity to have community and fitness together. And that made me think, like afterwards, after I talked to you, I reached out to one of our boot campers, Bob. And I was like, Bob, maybe we should really just like market to like team-minded people, because those are the people that want to work out with other people. Because a lot of people, when they start a workout program, that's not what they say. They're like, I want to lose my belly, or I want to get in shape, or my doctor says I need to lower my blood pressure. They're not thinking like, I care about being with people. They're just like, I need to do this for my health or my fitness or whatever it is. And those people tend not to be as successful as the people that value the community aspect of it, value like what you're talking about, seeing someone they know, getting to have a conversation, connecting on a deeper level. So it just got me thinking, like, I just wanted to tell you that, Ty, having you there that day kind of got me thinking like, maybe I'm not doing this right. But we want everyone. The bottom line is we want everyone. But at the same time, there is a certain personality or a certain type of person that wants to, like, no matter what stage of life they are, no matter if they're an athlete or not, they like the idea of being on a team. They like the idea of being on something beyond themselves. Like, it's not just you, it's you're a part of a larger group that has a mission to do something.
Yeah, no, that community, like that's what's best about KBC. That's what's best about all the sports I've done. It's the focal point for all people. Like it connects people from all ages. And you even talk about that. Have you watched the Blue Zones documentary?
I have not. I've heard a lot about it.
Highly recommend. And one of the main things, it's this documentary, I think Dan Buettner is the name, where he went to all these places where blue zones are where people live to like over 100, and people live really long in these areas. It's about longevity. And one of the key things is a sense of connection, or like a community, people who, have like a gardening class, or like do water aerobics together, or just random things. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're playing cards with friends, but just being able to connect with those people live so much longer. They're so much happier. And they're just more in touch with, like, they're more content just with their lives, because we're people. We're supposed to talk to one another and be together.
That is very true. I love that. Well, both of your parents are I think they're social. I know your dad's coached you over the years, and now he's coaching at a rival school. How was that to have your dad coaching at a rival school?
It was weird.
Okay, I think it's weird.
I'm just like running, and then I see my dad cheering on the other team. I'm like, what's going on?
It must have been hard for him.
Yeah, and it's hard for cross country. It's a competitive sport, but it's also very individual. You're running those times.
Yeah.
And I was better than his team, so I didn't have to worry about that as much. But wrestling, it's a personal sport. You're wrestling another guy. So, when I was going up against Light Ridge, it was weird shaking hands with the other team, because I'm like, my dad coaches my opponent. And so it it was cool, but also I felt weird just wrestling against my dad's team's captain. Like it was a weird mix, but I know while we were competing though, he always separated himself. He was like, "I'm a freedom dad for this match."
I love that.
But next year he'll be more into it. I'm gone, so he can do whatever he wants with his coaching.
Yeah, I think that was probably hard, but if anyone could pull that off, I think it would be your dad. So kudos to him for helping his school and using his expertise to coach and having obviously his last son. It's a hard chapter for a parent too. Trust me. I'm sure your parents are experiencing it. I know a lot of the KBC community members of anytime something changes, even a graduation from elementary school, middle school, high school, it's like, you're our babies. We want you to be like that forever. And it's hard for us to see. So I'm sure that it was bittersweet. And this is not a question I told you I was going to ask you. Well, none of them. We really just had a conversation, which is exactly what I wanted. But what would you say out of all the things that your father has taught you in life, or the things that you remember that he says, when you go off to school and you're like, and someone says like, oh, what's one thing? No, they don't know your dad. What's one thing that your dad always told you or that you remember about your dad? What would you say, Ty?
My dad's always like, he's big on like the mental aspect of like sports is like our way of connecting, and say wrestling especially. So my dad's big on like the ability of like believing in yourself. It's a simple concept, but like whenever I'll be like, oh, Dad, I'm not going to be a state champ in like wrestling or whatever. Like it's just not possible. He's like, don't say that. Like you can do it. Like you got to believe. He'll like, I'll go out and be like, we'll try my best. And he's like, you got this. Like he preaches self-belief. He reads all these like motivational books and all this stuff. And so the biggest thing is just like power of the mind and like manifesting, like, I can do it. Why not me is the big thing. So I try to reach that from not just sports, but just into my own life, like my own goals, getting into college. Like he says, you can do, like, he believed I was getting into UVA before I did. Like, so that's the main thing, just believing in yourself.
That's awesome. Great answer, Ty. What about your mom? What's the biggest thing your mom's taught you?
Biggest thing my mom's taught me. Okay. So she doesn't read as many of those motivational books. No, she's more, I would say my mom's more focused on like that social aspect. She's taught me just why not put yourself out there? Like she was not going to be she was never envisioned being an instructor at a boot camp, but like she just decided to put herself out there. So I'd say she's more focused on like that social element for sure. I'd say, so that's my mom's side is more just, you got to connect with other people, get out there. Like if I'm inside just caged up on my phone, she's like, go knock on your friend's door. What are we doing? Go play. Like just be a kid. So connecting is my mom. My mom's social battery is pretty strong. So.
Now, did you ever get annoyed? I'm wondering when you were younger, because my kids were totally annoyed by me wanting them to make better food choices. And I wouldn't say I was extreme. They would tell you I was, but I wasn't. What was that ever annoying? Are you ever like annoyed? Can we just buy like Cheetos, Mom? Or no, because you don't want them anyway? Or was there a time when you did want them?
See, I think weirdly, no, I don't.
Okay.
Because I kind of just for some reason took a lot of pride in it, because I'd get these like bougie lunches with like these like my mom would help me pack like this like healthier stuff. So for some reason it made me feel like better about myself. I was like, oh,
that's amazing.
I'm eating clean. But
yeah.
No, it definitely, it was followed by a lot of normal kids were like, what are you doing? Why are you eating arugula for your lunch? But, so it had its pros and cons, but I'd say it was a good
You had
change.
the confidence that you didn't care if the kids were were saying something funny. You were like, okay, I like it. Who cares? Right. That in itself is very impressive. Very impressive. All right. My last question for you, Ty. Okay. And we've gone a little bit longer. This has been so fun to talk to you. When is a time in your life when you feel like you started before you're ready? The name of this podcast is Start Before You're Ready. And the concept is don't wait for the perfect time to do something. Just take action. Would you have a time in your life that you could relate to that?
Starting before I'm ready. By the way, I love the name of the podcast. But
Oh, thanks.
we talked about it a lot, but I would say running, because
Yeah.
I was not planning on running. Both my brothers did cross country, and I had no interest in doing it. So I was football. I wanted to play football at Freedom, but I was just I was convinced to go to a practice, and there was already some guys way faster than me. I was like, I don't know if this is my thing, but just something told me, like, I started running. I was like, that's kind of fun. These people are kind of cool. And so I just decided to just start before I was ready. I just thrust myself
that's a great
into
example.
I'm so glad I did. I mean, football is a great sport, but I've learned so much from running. And I didn't just kind of dip a toe into it. I immediately, once I actually decided, like, okay, I'm doing this. Like, I got all the running apps. I got like a running watch and all these like running shorts and shoes. And
you were a runner.
I just went for it. And I was like, I want to make varsity. I don't want to be sitting on the bench as a freshman. I want to make varsity. Like, that was my goal. And I luckily got that freshman year, but, and it came from, if I waited like a month, like, we'll see. No, with running, you got to get started early. So I'm glad I just decided to dive into it.
It's cute that they wanted you to do what they did too.
Yes.
I like that. I think brothers are cute like that. And I know we talked about this a little bit, but would you have any advice? So as a mom, one of the things that I struggled with was I never wanted like any of my kids to feel like I was paying more attention to one than the other, or I favored, or I always wanted them to, I always try to be equal, and it's hard, you know, sometimes one kid needs you more, would you have any advice to parents on how they can best navigate that? Or something maybe your parents did that you thought was extra helpful? Or maybe there's something they did wrong that you're like, don't do this?
No. I'd say
my kids would have that, for example.
Just level of communication with the kids is big, because even though like what my parents did, what I think was really special about my parents, why they're awesome, they're the best, is they kind of kept it the same for all of us in like their communication. Like, Jake's almost 6 years older than me, but they don't treat us like we're six. They treat us like we're the same maturity level, which I'd say we are. No, just kidding. But they would like, when I was young, they would have the same conversations with all of us, and they wouldn't treat anyone differently. Not because he's the oldest or Lex is the middle child, he gets a special privilege. We're doing all the same chores. We're getting all the same hard talks. If one of us is picking on another, we're all three getting yelled at. So we got to all like, it's just about treating us all the same, but then also like listening to all of us. And that kind of like went into sports too. Like, if one brother had some crazy success, that's great, but then that doesn't diminish the value of the other brother. Like, we're all like we're a community. We bickered a little bit when we were younger, but we grew up stronger together as brothers. So I think just by not treating us all, not putting someone on a pedestal, but keeping us all level was the key.
Well, I actually think that is really brilliant advice, Ty. And I think that a lot of times in families, especially when there's the younger one, they'll say the younger one gets this, they feel like they get things different and special, but for your parents, they kind of just created an even playing field, and we're like, this is our family and this is how we do things. And I think that was really smart. So it was a great share, and probably some really good advice that we can all think about as you guys take on this next chapter. Your parents are going to be empty nesters. Do you think they're going to be sad?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's just,
I think you're going to see them a lot.
We've been doing these sports and all this stuff for so long. I feel like it's going to be a new chapter for them, but I mean, they're excited. They'll be down in Charlottesville a lot, which
absolutely,
they'll provide me with food, so I'll take it. No,
that's right. You'll have all the requests.
They'll be sad to see us go. We spend a lot of time together. We're really close, so it'll be, because Lex and I both graduate at the same time, and he's moving to Florida. So it's going to be it's a new era for the Beyer family.
Yeah, you're going to be up and down the East Coast. It's North Carolina, Florida, Virginia. It's crazy. Anything else you want to say to our Start Before You're Ready community, Ty?
No, other than thank you so much for having me, Miss Young. I mean, this is an awesome opportunity, just like I'm on a screen and on a podcast. What high schooler still high schooler as of now gets to say that?
You deserve to be on the screen on a podcast, buddy, and you're going to be doing a lot of great things. I told your mom you have a great sense about you, and it actually all makes sense based on what you shared. You are wise beyond your years in a really significant way, and you have great confidence, which will take you anywhere you want to go. So all those books your dad read and all those lessons he gave you, they have served you well, because he's absolutely right, Ty. There's nothing you can't do. If you want something, you will find a way to make it happen. And I'm glad that those are the messages that you're taking with you to school. And I can't wait to see what you do at school. And I just want to congratulate you on an incredible high school career. And thank you for doing your capstone project with Inergy and me getting a chance to know you a little bit better.
Oh, thank you. It was an awesome experience. And hey, if any rising seniors are listening to this, you should ask me.
Yeah, don't send me the slackers. I can't stand slackers, Ty. I only want kids that like to do stuff. I don't like slackers.
Yeah, no,
I like kids that are like actually excited about it. They're not going to come to me on the last day with their form and ask me to sign it. That wasn't you, that's for sure. Okay, Ty, thank you so much for being on the podcast, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you, Miss Young.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Start Before You're Ready. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend who might need a little motivation. Ready to start your own journey? Check out our workouts and nutrition coaching programs at kellysbootcamp.net. You can choose from in-person sessions or virtual programs. Set up a complimentary coaching session to get started. Follow along with me and the show on social media at Kellys_bootcamp. Until next time, this is Kelly Young reminding you that the best time to start is always now.